a few scattered colonies. Colonies that one day suddenly stood up against the world's most powerful empire, and won. The year was 1776. The country, the United States of America. This was the America of that time. No identity, no military power, no vast economy. No one imagined that this very nation would one day change the course of world history. Yet within just 200 years, that same country became the driving force of global economic, military, technological, and cultural progress. How did the United States become a global superpower? Was it coincidence? Was it luck? Or was it the result of calculated steps, favorable geography, and an extraordinary political structure? This is not just history. It is a story of boldness, new ideas, brutal wars, and a touch of fortune. Let's begin. To understand today's United States, we must go back in time. In 1776, George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, and Benjamin Franklin declared independence. But the territory they claimed was far less than half of modern America. By 1783, after defeating Britain, the map of the United States looked very different. The newborn nation was weak, divided, and surrounded by enemies. To build a strong state, the first priority was expansion, and from birth, America pursued it relentlessly. In 1803, the U.S. purchased the entire Louisiana territory from France. With one deal, the country doubled in size. For just $15 million, they acquired 828,000 square miles of land. From the Mississippi to the Rocky Mountains, this territory opened doors to fertile farmland, mineral wealth, and river trade. The rivers of the Mississippi Basin did not originate in highlands. They flowed smoothly across vast distances into the sea. This made transportation cheap and easy, giving American trade a massive boost. The fertile lands along the rivers quickly turned the nation into an agricultural superpower. After removing the British and French, America turned its sights on Spain. Weakened by European wars, Spain was forced in 1819 to cede Florida and vast lands to the U.S. A year earlier, Britain had also surrendered territory. In 1845, Texas joined the Union. In 1846, through a treaty with Britain, America gained present-day Washington, Oregon, and Idaho. In 1848, they seized California, Nevada, Utah, and Arizona from Mexico. By 1853, they purchased more land in Arizona. Thus, the mainland United States was complete. Expansion continued. In 1867, they bought Alaska from Russia. In 1898, they annexed Hawaii and Puerto Rico. Later, smaller islands followed. By the mid-19th century, America had secured its full territory. But the nation faced dark times. From 1861 to 1865, the Civil War nearly tore the country apart. The conflict over slavery, industrial North versus agricultural South, and states' rights. In 1865, General Lee surrendered, ending the war. Slavery was abolished. This bloody chapter ignited the fire that would later propel America toward global superpower status. By the late 19th century, the Second Industrial Revolution transformed the U.S. Two inventions changed everything: electricity and the engine. Railroads spread across the nation, linking east and west coasts. Trade accelerated dramatically. Thomas Edison, Nikola Tesla, Henry Ford. Not just names, but forces that reshaped the age. By 1890, America surpassed Britain in steel production. Coal output rose 800% between 1865 and 1898. Railroads expanded by 567%. Between 1870 and 1900, 25 million immigrants filled factories in cities like New York and Chicago. America understood, people are power. Skilled workers are wealth. This belief laid the foundation for future technology and innovation. With economic prosperity came a blue water navy, capable of sailing far across oceans. In the 19th century, U.S. foreign policy focused on expanding trade while avoiding foreign entanglements. But as prosperity grew, they realized the coasts must be secured. The greatest threat was Spain. Though Spain had lost much of its mainland power, it still controlled Cuba, Puerto Rico, and parts of the Dominican Republic. Cuba especially haunted American presidents. It lay right next to Florida and controlled access to the vital port of New Orleans. Spanish presence there was unacceptable. The date, February 15, 1898. In Havana Harbor, the U.S. battleship USS Maine exploded and sank. Though later proven an accident, American newspapers and politicians blamed Spain. Soon after, the U.S. declared war. The Spanish-American War marked the first turning point in America's rise as a global power. The U.S. destroyed the Spanish fleet. By December 1898, the Treaty of Paris ended the war. Puerto Rico, Guam, the Philippines, and Cuba fell under American influence. In 1903, America secured exclusive rights to the Panama Canal. Trade soared, and the U.S. emerged as a rising global force. Yet it remained somewhat isolated until World War I. In 1914, World War I began. The U.S. stayed neutral at first, but German submarine attacks and Germany's attempt to ally with Mexico in 1917 forced America into the war. 2 million U.S. soldiers were deployed to Europe, turning the tide. By November 1918, the war ended. President Wilson's 14 points offered a vision for peace, but America soon returned to isolation. In 1929, the Great Depression struck. By 1939, the economy recovered. During this period, the U.S. avoided foreign conflicts. But World War II changed everything. The war began in 1939. The U.S. remained neutral until December 7, 1941. Japan attacked Pearl Harbor in the Pacific. 2,400 Americans were killed. Several warships destroyed. The sleeping giant awoke. America entered the war. The U.S. built 100,000 tanks, 300,000 aircraft, and 3.4 million military vehicles. No nation in history had ever shown such production power. 16 million Americans joined the armed forces. The U.S. projected its strength worldwide. And unlike before, it did not retreat after victory. In August 1945, America dropped atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The world entered a new era, the atomic age. After World War II, the United States began reshaping everything in its own way. The World Bank and the IMF were created under American leadership. Global trade, loans, finance. America placed itself at the center of it all. The dollar became the lifeblood of the world. Oil was sold in dollars. International trade was conducted in dollars. National reserves were kept in dollars. But during the war, another major event took place. The year was 1940. Britain was desperately fighting Germany. To survive, they needed more warships. At that time, Britain controlled the world's sea routes. Their military bases stretched across the globe. America seized the opportunity. They had 50 extra destroyers. Through the Destroyers for Bases Agreement, the U.S. gave Britain those ships, and in return, Britain handed over nearly all of its naval bases in the Western Hemisphere. Thus, the United States became the new guardian of the sea routes. Not just the seas, America expanded its dominance on land as well. After the war, every European nation was weakened. Their cities lay in ruins, and so did their economies. Meanwhile, the Soviet Union emerged as an aggressive power in Europe, America's only global rival. The United States was pouring vast amounts of money into Europe's reconstruction, while also establishing permanent bases in Western European countries by leveraging fear of the Soviet Union. And to contain this Soviet Union, in 1949 they created the military alliance known as the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, or simply NATO. Washington took charge of its formation, and through NATO, America assumed leadership of the Western world's military strength. Though the treaty spoke of collective defense, the supreme commander of NATO was ultimately accountable to Washington. By that time, the US had become the guardian of the Western world. With NATO's creation, the Cold War began. Capitalism versus socialism. The US adopted the Truman Doctrine, officially to support democratic nations against Soviet expansion, but in reality, to contain the Soviet Union. This led America into the Korean War and the Vietnam War. The Cold War was not only military, it was also a rivalry in technology, science, and innovation. When the Soviet Union launched the Sputnik satellite, America realized this was more than a space race. It was a battle for future power. Thus, NASA was born, along with thousands of research institutions. In 1969, when America set foot on the moon, the world understood the US was not just a military or economic power, but the leader of the future technological world. The internet, computers, Google, Apple, Microsoft, all were born in America. Without technological dominance, no superpower can last. The US understood this before anyone else. But America did not limit its dominance to the Atlantic and Mediterranean. In 1951, it formed an alliance with Australia and New Zealand, expanding into the South Pacific. After the Korean War, its influence grew in the North Pacific as well. In the Middle East, it found allies in Saudi Arabia and Qatar, establishing military bases and expanding its reach. Even Africa saw American military presence. Yet in the 1960s, the failure in Vietnam damaged US confidence, making it more cautious about foreign entanglements. The greatest obstacle to America's sole superpower status was the Soviet Union. But when the USSR collapsed in 1991, no barriers remained. For the first time in history, the United States stood as the world's only superpower. For the next 3 decades, America alone managed global finance, trade, technology, diplomacy, and military affairs. Even today, with a GDP of $30 trillion, an annual military budget of $800 billion, Silicon Valley's technology, and global trade conducted in US dollars, America continues to lead the world. But challenges remain. The greatest challenge, the rise of China. Analysts predict that by the mid-21st century, China may surpass the US and become the dominant superpower. Yet America has long been preparing strategies to counter China. That, too, could be the subject of another story. The United States became a superpower not by strength alone, but through geography, immigration, the Industrial Revolution, opportunities in war, technological dominance, and cultural leadership. History has seen many empires: Rome, Britain, the Mongols. But none ever influenced the entire world as the US has. America's dramatic rise reminds us, power is never permanent. It always changes. What comes next? Only time will write that chapter.